Well, hello and welcome back. Say, this is going to be my 10 top best sounding records. Just kind of like my 10 favorite records, same kind of video. And we're just going to talk about some records that I've talked about before and maybe a few new ones and throwing in here of how do you know that record's going to sound good? What makes a good sounding record? Okay, if you like jazz records, everybody knows this by now, but you see this right here? Tone poet. If you like jazz records and you see that tone poet on there, that's all you need to know. That's going to be a really, really good sounding record. And it's going to be a very beautiful record. Isn't that crack? It still cracks when you open it up. It's just the highest standards, the highest quality. And, 20, 30 years from now, that's going to be a grail. Somebody's going to want that because they're not going to make that many of them. And now it's going to be a grail. That's another thing that makes a grail. It's not always a new record because, they're making a fair number of these, but you got to get them while they're out, right? Okay, now here's another record that's like a grail, and it's another one. This was Music Matters, okay? This is a 2 LP. This is a 45 RPM on the jazz label, and this was Music Matters was making the records before the Tone Poets came out. This was one of the records you could get on that Music Matters label. That's another one. So you see that, it's going to be a good record. And at the same time as Music Matters was making theirs, here we go. Right? We've got Chad Kasem over there at Acoustic Sounds. He was also reissuing records. Really nice shiny covers, but they're not a gatefold, but they're on the, they're Blue Note, 45 RPM, just like the Music Matters. And Acoustic Sounds, they got some titles, and Music Matters got some titles. They both didn't get the same titles, and they put them out over a couple of years. Again, very good sounding records. If you see that sticker on a record, that's going to be a good record. And they've got them on different types of records. That's going to be a good record. Anything, see there's Kevin Gray on there. Steve Hoffman. You see those names? That's a good record. Now we have Dave Brubeck, Time Out. And again, this is the same type of record. This is Quality Records again. And as a good rule of thumb, if you see a hype sticker on the record and they're saying original master tape, quality record presses, unmatched quality control, deluxe packaging, limited edition, they're only using the original tape and they work with the best mastering studio and they're making, an analog record. Right. When they're doing it right, they're proud to say it. And this is a 2 LP, 45 RPM on those Stroughton printing jackets. It's a beautiful package. And yes, it is a great sounding record. As soon as you see that Quality Records on there, you know it's going to be a good record. Here's the same thing again. Herbie Hancock, Headhunters. Great sounding record. And here we have, this is also Analog Productions, okay? They did all the Doors records. And these are also on 45 RPM. Here's the, on the back you can see the logo. Quality Records again. They make good records. from the analog tapes. T for the Tillerman. This was hiding out over here on this stack when I had my top 50 records. This could have been in there. Again, it's Analog Productions. Yeah, trying to find them. You know, that's on there. You know it's going to be a good sounding record. This is again a 45, which the 45 does sound better than the 33 version of this record now. But I used to have the MoFi of this record. That was at early 80s MoFi, I believe. And the 33 in the third version, the Quality Records press that was remastered by Kevin Gray. Or no, it was George Marino. George Marino remastered that over at Sterling Sound. And wow, much better than the MoFi. And then the 45 went another step above that. So even if you don't like flipping the record, get the 33. They sound great because it's from Quality Record Pressings. And again, here we go again. Quality Record Pressings. They upped the ante a little bit more with the one-step process on this record. Again, sounds the best of any that I've ever heard. Then you go with, if you see this original master record record up there. This is a MoFi, but you've got to look for that original master, not Mobile Fidelity, because if it just says Mobile Fidelity on the top, it's not a original master recording. It's not going to have that great sound quality that you're looking for. It's going to be a little bit cheaper, but you want to make sure it says original master recording on the top. Like this one, it says it up here in a dark blue and you can't even see it, but it's the same thing. And now this is a 45 RPM. This is a 33. That's a 45. It's a 2LP 45. And now this is the one step. And this is a really good sounding record. I had the Kevin Gray remaster before this, which sounded a lot better than the Japanese original. And this just takes it another step. Really get a lot closer to the master tape sound. And now these one steps, they are expensive. And personally, I'm not going to collect all these. And then you look at the MoFi page on Facebook, there's folks got every one of these. There's a lot of people out there, they've got a lot of these one steps because they love them. And I don't think they're married, because if I was getting all of these one steps, I wouldn't be married very long. But you know, some people are able to do that. But for me now, I'm going to wait until there's one that I just got to have it. So this was the one for me. It's when value exceeds price. You know, that's when you make a sale. So the value for this record for me, it was worth that $100. Okay, here's another original master recording, MoFi. Again, see where it says original master recording. This Alison Krauss record, this is one of the best sounding records. Phenomenal. Like the ones I'm showing you are exceptionally great sounding records. As well as the Santana on the 45 RPM. Now there's another one that's not a 45 RPM. That one doesn't sound very good at all. You're better off just getting a Columbia 2i. But this one with the black lettering in it, that's the one I have. That's really, really good. Okay, then there's another label. It's called Classic Records. And they kind of started this MoFi really started it, as well as some other, Deutsche Tech Grammophon. There's different audiophile labels out there. Speaker's Corner. They make a lot of classical records, but Classic Records, they make great records. This one, Genesis Selling England by the Pound, is great. And they made this one. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, I think. That's probably because I want to show that record a bit more. Here's another one by Classic Records. Norah Jones, Come Away With Me. This is a great sounding record right here. If you can pick this record up, you want a demonstration record, really good sounding record. Another Classic Records. Muddy Waters Folk Singer. Another great sounding record. See, you see that sticker down there? Not always now, but a lot of times that will give you a good indication that that's going to be a good sounding record. Okay. This is a great sounding record. Here it is. Massey Hall, Neil Young record. It's kind of a You Are There record. Really good record. Really good sounding record. Okay, all these Led Zeppelin records, you know, this quality records again. They're really good. And this is the quality records. This is your Led Zeppelin. This is, let's see what the songs on here are. Black Dog and Rock and Roll off Led Zeppelin 4. And that's a 45 RPM out of the box. I just have the one record for that Clarity vinyl. You know, it's like this. Okay, bend over here. It looked like that. It came in a box like this. Somebody broke it up or split it up for whatever reason. Maybe the box was damaged or something. And I was able to buy one of the records out of it. And that's my two favorite songs off that. And if you've ever looked to see what those red boxes for Led Zeppelin, what they go for, yeah, I can't afford something like that. But I could afford that one record. And then we have Blood, Sweat, and Tears. This is another really good label, Original Recordings Group, ORG. Now this is on a 45 RPM. Stellar sound on this record. And again, this is ORG. Look, you can see it on the back as well as on the sticker. ORG, Original Recordings Group. Just like that Blood, Sweat, and Tears record. Sounds really good. So ORG is another really good label. And then I've had a lot of luck with these, music on vinyl. There's a lot, I have a number of these. And you know, they're not really cheap, but they are really nice packages. The covers are nice, the records are nice, they sound nice, good quality, they're quiet, everything you want in an audiophile press. And they put out a lot of good bands that we like. So that's another good. Hey, there we go. So what's in this box here now? Right, this is a Classic Records, Clarity Records, Clarity Vinyl 45 RPM series. Got the sticker down there. If you've ever come across a record like this in a box like this, it might not have the shrink on it. So I can just remove that a little bit. It might not even have this strip on it, but if you see that box, yeah, and it's not real expensive, buy it, because it's going to be a good record. So what do I have in here? Surprise, surprise. Let's have a little look, see what I got in here. Sarah Vaughan, You're Mine Too. You're Mine You. Quincy Jones arrangement on here. Roulette. Yeah, it's got that old Roulette label on there. Let's see if they've got it. You know what I mean? That Roulette label? That's old-timey label. then we've got the strobe on the back, because these records, they're one-sided. So you get 4 records in there. They're all at 45 RPM. And you can see the original inner sleeve, how they came like that. All 4 records in there. And it's a really, I got a pretty good deal on it too. That's why I bought it off of eBay. It was brand new. And I'm not sure what year this record came out. But probably like late 60s, I would think, somewhere in there. Really good record. Really do enjoy the record. I don't listen to it enough. Right? Because of how good it is. Put that in the something to listen to today pile. Put it down there. Okay. Jazz at the Pawn Shop. Okay. If you ever see this record here, Jazz at the Pawn Shop, you're looking around, and now it's been reissued a number of times. It's a, let me read on the back. It's from Sweden. Proprius. Made in Sweden. I'll even show you the label in case you come across it in the wild or something. Jazz at the Pawn Shop. This is kind of reported to be the best recorded jazz record ever, kind of thing. This is an audiophile classic right here. Really a great sounding record. If you find that somewhere and you think it's affordable for you, you know it's going to sound phenomenal. This is a live recording. And it's like you are there with the clinking of the glasses and everything. It's great. Here's another record. And a lot of you probably know this one. This is Patricia Barber Nightclub. And this has been reissued and remastered many a times. But I have the original on the Premonition label. And this record is right up there. Top 5 best sounding records that I own. What a phenomenal sounding record. And then of course, you know, Classic Records reissued it, and I'm pretty sure that it's out on Analog Productions 45 RPM. I'm happy with this. Those ones probably sound better. But some of those Patricia Barber records, really good. Modern Cool, I didn't like the record. I had it and I don't like the sound on it. The music. I don't like the music. Something about that guitar on there. Sound like a wounded whale. Not my style. And here's another label. CTI. You ever see that label CTI? The gatefolds are always, usually, look how glossy they are. I still got this one in the shrink. I had another one, but I got one that's in the shrink. A new one. A minty one, I should say. Comes with the original. You got paper inner sleeve in there because I bought it sealed. And then you've got your CTI label. These always sound good. And they've got a lot of really good jazz artists on this label. And they really do, I really do love the CTI. And this particular Gabor Szabo, Mizrab, yeah. That Mizrab and 13. Really, really good. That one side especially. Really good. I need to listen to this one too. I haven't listened to it for a while. So good. Okay, now this is Audio Fidelity. That is another high-end label, audiophile label. And I used to have the Columbia 2i of this original press, and this one was better. It sounded quite a bit better. Audio Fidelity makes great records. And this is just something, if you see out there and it's a 45 RPM version of like a certain song you like, yeah, this is what this is. This is a 45 RPM single or a 12 inch. They really do sound good. This is a phenomenal sounding record right here. Okay, now, what about these Japanese records? Yeah, if you can get the original pressing on the Japanese records, they sound really good. This one in particular is, even if it's not the Japanese, even if you just find Quincy Jones, some of the old Quincy Jones records on A&M, say the brown A&M label, really good. Really good sounding records. Okay, now this is one that I used to have the Classic Records reissue. Or was it the MoFi? It might have been even the MoFi. I don't remember, but this is the Japanese first edition, and it sounds better than those other ones did. This really sounds good. The first edition, Japanese pressing. Now here's another really, really great sounding record. This is on the Audiophile series. These are made in Japan, and as well, MoFi's reissued this, and those are made in Japan too. And even if you just get one on the A&M label, and or even a reissue, this is a phenomenal sounding record. Christopher Cross, good sounding record. If you see it, you want to hear something really good, pick it up. But for Rachel, we got a little Beatles Mccartney. This sounds really good. Just your original pressings, they sounded really good. Really did a good job on that production. Of course, just about any version of this record is going to sound good. And even the new ones, Bernie Grumman's apparently they sound really good. I think I'm going to have to do a shootout with some of that stuff, and we'll see. But that record, the Pink Dark Side of the Moon, even the CDs sound good. It's just a really good sounding record. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about these new Jimi Hendrix records that have come out. This one too. There's another couple more that have come out since about 2010 or so. They all are phenomenal sounding records. And I'm not sure, but there might still be some kicking around that because they weren't expensive and they're just very, very great value. And then we've got this. This is the 2011 Steve Wilson remix. It's like the 40th anniversary or whatever. The Steve Wilson remix of Aqualung. He did a really good job on this record here. Really sounds good. And those aren't that expensive either. And then it was this MCA heavy vinyl. If you see any of that stuff kicking around, they didn't make that many records of this MCA heavy vinyl. And I was really shocked how good of audiophile quality this record really is. Really, really good sounding record. MCA heavy vinyl. And now we're talking about, this is not a Rhino, this is a Friday Music. A Friday Music box that was 45 RPM on Yes. Really good. Friday Music. Okay, now these are all Rhinos. These are like 2010, 09, 11 in there. These Rhino reissues that were all done over at RTI. If you see any of these Rhinos and they've got that silver sticker and a Rhino up there sticker, that's going to be, and it's not, they're not asking, because now they're getting expensive and they're not asking a whole bunch of money. Yeah, pick it up. You're going to get it's going to be a great, great sounding record. There's one of them. This is the same thing here. Moondance. There's a sticker. And the gatefolds are just so heavy duty and thick. These are better covers than the originals were, because I had the original green Warner Brother label. And there's your Rhino label. And heavy, thick records. Beautiful texture on the covers. I'm not sure who made these covers for Rhino, but they just did. The records sound phenomenal, and the records look some of the best records ever made, these Rhinos. Of those years. Before all the floodgates opened up at RTI and then they couldn't keep up with anybody. Okay, this is another Rhino. And this is DeGuelo. Wow, this is really sounds great. Great sounding record. Now we're getting into the Friday music ones. And I've got a couple videos about the Friday music where I explain that if you see Kevin Gray on the back, because it'll say so a lot of these Friday music ones from, see if it's got a year on here, but it says Kevin Gray at Acoustic RTI. So you know that's like 2010 or something, 2011, 12 in there, because they're still over at Acoustic. Kevin Gray's over there. Kevin Gray doesn't work there anymore. He's at Coherent Audio. 2010, right there. See, 2010. Phenomenal sounding record right here. Better than the CBS half speed. Better than the first. Well, the first edition on the Japanese was very close to this. But yeah, you could buy that brand new. And then this is that Friday that's a half speed master. Again, better than the Rhino. That's how good that was. And then there's another Rhino from the same 2010 or so. Doesn't say anything on the back here. No, it just says song titles. But I had a number of Japanese presses and a bunch of original Warner Brothers. This Rhino is so much better. Such a great record. Lucky to own it. And here's another Friday music record. And again, if you can just get an Orange Epic label, the original pressing of this, that Frankenstein, yeah, that'll bring the house down. That's a great sounding record. And those are my top 10 best sounding records. It's kind of like just what to keep on lookout. If you're out there in the wild, you're looking around and you see an Audio Fidelity or a Classic Records or one of those older Friday musics, or it's got Kevin Gray on the back of it. Now, some of the newer Friday musics, you know, the ones that are coming out now, 2018, 2019, and 16, I think even, they're getting all pressed over there in Germany, and they're all digital now. So I know people have been making a mistake on that, and they're saying, yeah, I got one of them, Ron, I got one of those Rhino reissues, and that my old London label sounds better than this one. And I said, does it have the sticker, the RTI silver sticker on it? No, it had this. I said, well, that's the problem. You really got to know how to do your homework. And everybody makes mistakes. I do it as myself. But I hope that helps you out a little bit. And if you stayed this long, don't forget to subscribe now. And maybe check to see if you got your bell icon on, because there's a lot of folks that are, Ron, I didn't even know. I thought I was subscribed, but I checked and I'm not even subscribed. It's a big mess. I don't know what YouTube's doing, but thanks for watching. I appreciate it very much, and bye for now.